What's up, guys? Welcome back to the MarbleCast. We have an amazing episode for you this week. Marine vet Zack Sands. Now, Zack is an athlete here at CrossFit Dark Athletics, and he's just a savage lifter. He's super strong, and we're having him on to get to know him a little bit better and hear some insight to what it's like going into the Marines. We'd also like to shout out the Hunter 7 Foundation and the lift event presented by Mach 1 Barbell with partnering with MA22 organization. These two foundations help vets get the help they need when dealing with the stress of combat. So you can check out Hunter 7. The links are down below. And you can check out the lift event in Long Branch, New Jersey on August 28th. And all the links are down below, so check them all out. And without further ado, let's get this episode started. Here's Zack Sands. Let's check it out. What's up, Zack?
Not much. That day in paradise, right?
Yeah, man. How the hell are you?
Tired. Always tired.
Well, you get tired from being a savage all the time, so...
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah. You know, lifting as much as you do, and we're all envious except for your mobility, which is terrible, so that's cool.
You know, it's gotten better. I will say, at first I was like, this is garbage, but, you know, working overtime with you, it's better.
It's a work in progress for sure.
Oh, it's horrible, but it's better.
We're all a work in progress. It's all good, man.
Mm-hmm.
So you got here, what was it, when did you start here? In January?
I think it was January.
Yeah.
I started back in CrossFit in October, and then I was like, I wanted to come to another gym, work on mobility and actually weightlifting. So that's when I came here.
Yeah, so you wanted to do weightlifting. We sort of worked a little bit of it, but then now we're kind of stuck on powerlifting.
Yeah, and the only reason is because I have the strength of a gorilla, but I have no mobility. So as much as I want to do weightlifting, until I get that front rack at least better, powerlifting it is.
Dude, the only thing you get to do for front rack is just keep putting that bar on your shoulders. Even Dr. T is having a ton of issues putting that bar on his shoulders, putting the bar overhead. It's so time consuming. And when you're built like you are, it's practically impossible. But it's possible.
It's definitely possible. I mean, 200 pounds or 220, 100 kilos for you weightlifters. So, like, yeah, it's not easy when I'm just tight everywhere. And now I'm trying to work all that muscle built up.
I was watching a video yesterday. There was this doctor who did like ART with this bodybuilder who was like this huge dude, and his tricep was tight, his shoulder was tight, dude was popping his neck. If I find the video, I'll try to tag it in here, but he was popping his neck, like cracking his neck, cracking his back, and just scraping the shit out of his muscles. And sometimes Dr. T does it, but it just looks so excruciating and so painful. But I think that is something that you kind of need to activate and release some of the tension that you have going on there.
Definitely. I mean, we had Mo using that bar. It took, 3 people holding me down just to scrape in my lats, and then everybody thought I was going to get off the table and Hulk smash everybody, but no, I'd take the pain and I'll do it.
That's definitely what we need to do with you, just like once a day.
Twice a day.
Twice a day. We need 3 people to hold them down and one to just smash you with a barbell.
Oh, it was horrible. It was worst pain.
All right, so what's your background? Where are you from?
So originally I was born in PA, Pennsylvania, and then parents separated. I ended up going to California, and I spent 14 years in California. And then finally, I think it was going into my sophomore year of high school, I came back out here, lived with my father, and finished, and then went right back, or not went right back, but I went into the Marine Corps. And that was kind of the basic of my childhood.
Is that a family military background, or is it just your decision to do that?
It was just my decision. I mean, it kind of skips almost every generation. I have one cousin who was a Marine as well, one cousin who was Air National Guard, and then, skips that generation. The next generation, my great uncle was Special Forces in the Army, and then skips another generation, and then World War II, they were Special Forces as well. So it's kind of like every other generation military.
What do you think drew you to the Marines over the other branches?
So originally I wanted to join the Navy and be a SEAL, because I'm like, oh, these guys are cool. And I walked in the Navy's office, and no one could give me a straight contract for it. So I'm like, I'm not going to sign a contract and then end up being a guy on a boat swabbing a deck. Like, no, thanks. I'm okay.
Isn't that what everybody ends up doing anyway in their first couple years?
Not if you go to SEALs. If you go to SEALs, then it's like you go through pre-SEALs, which is, I want to say 3 months, but don't hold me to it. And
don't you have to go through buds, though?
Yeah, you go through buds after that.
Okay.
So it's like a pre, they get you in shape for buds, and then you go to buds. And then from there, you go to like SQT and a whole bunch of other schools. And it's like a almost 16 to 18 month process. But that's originally what I wanted. And since I couldn't get that contract, I was like, well, I'm not going to join the Navy because that's not what I want. And then I went with my father, talked to the Army because his buddy was a recruiter. I walked in the Army and they offered me like this Ranger contract and like, oh, you could go become an 18 series, which is Special Forces. And I'm like, this sounds good. And I'm looking around the office. And no offense to the Army, every single one of them was fat. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, how are you going to promote this? And not a single one of you guys are in shape. And they're telling me they're infantry and all this other stuff. And that just didn't appeal to me. And then I walked into the Marine Corps and the guy instantly cursed. And he was just like, I don't give an F if you... You
can curse on here too.
Okay, I wasn't sure. He's like, I don't give a fuck if you
join
or not. So
obviously Zach does not listen to the MarbleCast.
He's like, I don't give a fuck if you join or not. He goes, I'm getting paid whether you do or not. He goes, but do me a favor and you drive home, look at all the flags that are hanging. He goes, here in Jersey, you have all the Fort Dix and you have Army here, Navy here, Air Force. And every time I was driving, I saw a Marine Corps flag. Everybody was proud to be a Marine. And I was like, well, that kind of drew me to it. And then from there, they were like the toughest ones and all this other stuff. So I was like, okay, I'll do this. And I signed an infantry contract off the bat. And then my goal was to go to recon from there and figure my way out through the Marine Corps, and I wanted to do 20 years and then get out. So then anyways, I joined the Marine Corps and we started.
This is what year?
This was going into 2010.
Okay.
So go to boot camp and I knew nothing about drill. I knew nothing about all this stuff in boot camp, and I was like, I thought you were just going to hand me a gun and teach me how to kill. And I was kind of like disappointed at first because I'm like, we only took 2 weeks where we were learning how to use a rifle and shoot, and I'm like, that's all I joined the Marine Corps for. I just wanted to shoot.
Yeah.
I love guns. And so from there, I was kind of disappointed in boot camp. I thought it was going to be a lot harder. And it was for some people. I mean, some people mentally couldn't handle it and some people could. And to me, I've been screamed at my whole life. So I was like, whatever, dude. You're going to scream at me, like, might as well throw a shoe at me too, because that's what I'm used to. And so it didn't really faze me from
This is in Paris Island, right?
Yeah, I went to Paris Island.
What is it like on that bus ride there? Like, you just like, what the fuck am I getting myself into?
Not even. It was more like, because they do it in the middle of the night, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, yo, I'm tired. Like, if anybody knows me, I just love to sleep. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm tired. Like, can we just hold off? So we finally go through the gates and they're like, put your heads down like it's a secret. And I'm like, yo, I know where I'm at. Like, you could Google Maps it before you come and figure out, where you're going.
Yeah.
But it was just the middle of the night, and then they start screaming at you. And I remember I want to say it was the 18th footprint on the ground, because they have yellow footprints that make you yell and yell at you to stand on and all this. I was the 18th one, and I just remember that. And then kind of after that, everything was a blur from boot camp because it just goes by so quick. But you're exhausted. I mean, they give you a minimum of 7 hours because if you have an hour of duty in the middle of the night, you're getting out less than an hour of sleep. But 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night, it's not like it's horrible.
What did they do the first, like, was it 8 weeks long?
It's 13.
13 weeks long?
Yeah.
And what are like the first few weeks? It's just getting you in line and doing
it's in processing. You're learning like the basic stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this was years ago. I mean, this was over 11 years ago. So now I'm like, but it's just in processing. You're doing your shots. You're getting your hair cut. I mean, you're coming in. You're getting your like all your SIF gear or like your issued gear, and then what you end up paying for, people don't realize, like, it comes out of your paycheck in the military, like the gear that they give you, so your uniforms and all this other stuff. And you get all that issued. You learn the basic drill movements, how to march, communication, learn not to talk back, how to address people, because everything is, aye, sir, yes, sir,
How many people just fuck that up?
Oh, so many.
Yeah.
Because, like, in the first few weeks, you're just getting your ass beat because you're like, can I? Oh, can I? And then they start coming at you and screaming at you, and you're just like, come on, dude, shit. Like, here we go again. Then, like, once you start going through the whole process of boot camp and you start getting in the weeks, and then, like, you kind of figure out who's good and who's not, and then they push the ones that they want to push to be better. I ran a 300 PFT, which is a perfect score for the physical fitness test every time. So it was me and this one kid, Bailey, and they used to just drill into us because they're like, best PTers, we're going to just slay these dudes. So I remember in the middle of the night, my kill hat came in, and like, they're not supposed to mess with you in the middle of the night. Like, once you're sleeping, they're supposed to leave you alone. And he would like be like low crawl out the door, and he'd like maybe low crawl all the way to like the sand pit outside, and then PT me, maybe do like, you know, kind of like CrossFit, like we're doing burpees and high knees and all this other stuff just to mess with you, and then sends you back inside and grabs the next dude and kind of messes with you. And I don't think it's how it is now, because all the generations,
well, this is only 11 years ago.
Yeah.
So my only experience with boot camp is through Full Metal Jacket.
Oh man,
and it's probably not even close to that anymore.
No, probably not.
Yeah, so like that one's from the 60s. I think the movie came out in the 80s.
Yeah, it's supposed to be based on like Vietnam era time frame. Yeah, it really wasn't that hard. I mean, it's just a mental thing, and if you're mentally strong and like you want to be there, then you'll make it. But if you don't want to be there, then you just hate your life.
Yeah,
but it's not hard.
It's not hard.
It's not
hard to be a Marine.
No, I don't think so.
As long as you listen and don't fuck up.
It's really like, that's
the boot camp part.
That's the boot camp part.
The boot camp part, yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody can make it through boot camp.
I think so.
Yeah.
Unless you like medically get hurt or something like that. That's a different story. And like, you know, some people just fall wrong and they break their leg or twist their ankle, and you're done. It happens.
Yeah. What are the differences between like Army, Navy, Marines?
In what way?
So like, Marines are the first ones in, right?
So without an act of war from Congress, it's up to 90 days that the Marines can be deployed, or 3 months. So without the act of Congress, they can have Marines on deck. And then the way I kind of look at it, the Marines are kind of the ones that really do the initial invasion. I mean, so does Army. I'm not going to take it away. There's certain units in the Army that they kick ass. And like, I mean, I'm going to talk shit about the Army just because, you know, I'm a Marine, and so that's what we do. But
I can have Rick come in. He's Army.
Yeah, I have a lot of good friends that are still, you know, that they actually switch over from Marine Corps to Army because it's just a better living environment from the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps is really designed to just, you're a ground pounder. You're treated like crap. You get hand-me-downs, but I liked it because I feel like it built you to be a better man. That was my philosophy on it, because now you see me in the gym. I do 100% with everything I do until I'm like, all right, this isn't.
Yeah, sometimes it's your downfall.
I agree.
A lot of the times it's your downfall.
from everything. I give 100% with everything, from relationships to whatever, and I'm like, shit, this is where I fuck up.
This is why we have to teach Zach how to pace. Because yesterday you wrote a workout for yourself. It was 315 bench, 20 dips, 25 burpees, or something like that. It was all chest.
Yeah, it was 315 for 5 on bench. Then it was 25 push-ups, 20 dips. Then it was 10 toes to bar, 5 burpees. And then it was just 10 rounds of that, and I was smoked. After like the 3rd round, I switched to 225, and even then again by like the 7th round, I was like, dude, 225 feels like 405 right now, and I'm dying. But I mean, I felt good afterwards.
You feel good today? Ripped apart.
I didn't get enough sleep, so I don't think my body even realized it's a different day yet. But it's like when I did that pull-up challenge.
Dude, that was so ridiculous.
I did 500 strict pull-ups in like 21 minutes or something like that.
No, you attempted 500 pull-ups.
I attempted 1,000.
No, you attempted 500.
What'd I get then?
200 and something.
Oh. I thought I was attempting 1,000. I think
500. It took you 40 minutes to do that 200 too, because you were getting. No, it was closer to 25 minutes. You hit, I think, 200 or 250.
I think I hit 500. No, maybe.
No, it was 500.
But it was but I was trying to do the 1,000 pull-up challenge.
No, I don't think
he did it in 43 minutes.
He did 500 in 45 minutes. The guy, I don't know who it was. It's some Instagram guy.
Oh yeah, maybe that's what it was. For some
reason,
I thought it was.
You got to 200 in like 20 minutes or 225 minutes, and you were like, yeah, this is not going to go well.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm done. I'm like, I still got to do a WOD and everything. I'm like, I'm not playing this game. I'm too old for this.
I watched you do it, and I was like, listen, have fun.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gotten as far as you, so that's
the first 100 wasn't bad. It was the second 100 and whatever that I was like, oh, this is not okay anymore.
No.
Yeah.
I think strict too. What the fuck, man?
I like it.
That's all you did at boot camp, huh? Strict pull-ups and push-ups and shit.
That's all I did in my whole career.
Yeah.
I didn't learn how to kip till October.
Yeah.
So
I mean, kipping's good for CrossFit. It's not good for anything else.
yeah, no, I
Like, you
agree.
can't really. I mean, unless you're a gymnast, you kipping, doing pull-ups in a bodybuilding program, you're gonna look like an asshole.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not that it's not effective. It's just it's effective for CrossFit. So that's why we teach it here for CrossFit.
I'll do it for CrossFit, but like when it comes to regular workouts, I mentally can't do it. I'm like, that's not.
Like, 500 pull-ups, I'd have to kip because there's no way I'm going to be able to. I wouldn't get very far anyway, even if I didn't kip.
I think I could do it if I actually sat there and like was like that was all I was doing for the day.
Yeah.
But the fact I had like, because I was at this point in my career or life, I was doing like 3 workouts a day, and I was like, I was just crazy. And then the last, I don't know, 2-3 months, I kind of
You slowed down a little bit.
yeah.
Is that what I do at my gym? Like, I drive people to just slow down and just do some weightlifting or powerlifting? Is that what happens here? Is that my culture?
I don't.
Because I don't do a lot of CrossFit, so everybody's just like,
Well, I love the CrossFit. It was just I think I was traveling so much, and then like medical stuff was coming up, and I was like, I'm not doing all this. Like, I need to relax and rest my body, especially on top of trying to like do all the weightlifting stuff on top of being strong and everything.
that's just like overwhelming, the weightlifting stuff. Sometimes.
Completely. And then like even going to the meets, like when we went to Detroit, I was like, yo, these people are crazy because like they miss one thing and they have a mental breakdown. I'm like, I understand, but like,
This the top, man. That's basically the Olympic Games for our country.
yeah.
Even though we just had the Olympic Games and U.S. finally does good, and then what do we hear? Oh yeah, by the way, Olympic weightlifting is out of the Olympics 2024, or at least it's on its way out.
Which makes no sense to me, but
Well, you know what? It makes sense, but at the same time, it's like if weightlifting is the biggest problem, how is weightlifting the biggest problem when all the other sports are just as bad, if not worse? You have gymnastics with all of the sexual harassment cases and the mistreating of athletes. Track and field is riddled with drugs. So, why is weightlifting the scapegoat?
I have no idea.
I don't know either. I'm just
Well, even look at, what was it, Russia came up with the guys that all popped on tests, and they came up with a whole new republic of...
Well, they had to. So, like, the way the Olympics works is that Russia was banned from the Olympics, but Russian athletes that never tested positive previously or had no sanctions under them were still able to compete. They just couldn't compete for Russia, technically. They had to compete as something else.
That makes sense. Okay.
So, like, it just gave the athletes who were like, hey, I didn't do anything wrong, a fair shot at competing, even though they probably did some shit, too. And I think, but all the people in the Olympics.
I mean,
probably
even
did
if you look
some
at the CrossFit Games, you're telling me all those people are natural? I mean,
I'm not telling you that.
yeah, well, I'm not saying it either.
I mean, I think they're all juiced up. I mean, just look at Noah Olsen's abs. They're gigantic.
Yeah, I'm not saying you can't accomplish it naturally, but the fact that as hard as they go daily,
Yeah.
there's no way.
I
mean, if they do it naturally, and like because I know there's some freaking natures out there, but I tip my hat to you if you're natural, but
I mean, I think you can get there naturally, and maybe you can win naturally once. But to do it multiple times and be on the top and so far ahead of other people, that's where I get like, no, it's just not possible.
Yeah.
Like, how are you that good?
I'm not anti performance enhancing, depending on like for the military. I think all special operations guys should have it because they just run those guys ragged, But then you look at sports and stuff, like if it's like the NFL, whatever, like no, maybe not, or baseball, I don't really know if it makes a difference.
Listen, I'm for all the athletes using performance-enhancing drugs if it makes their athletic career better and it keeps them healthy. Like, I'm not for them pretending like nobody's on it and this is a pure and fair sport. I'm not for that. I think it's bullshit.
I agree.
Yeah, like baseball, go ahead, take steroids. That's your job. You have millions of dollars on the line on your contract. You have to perform. If you don't perform, somebody else is going to perform. You're going to lose all that money.
Yeah.
And then what do you do? Like, if my job's on the line and I could take something that helps me do my job better and stay in the sport and stay making money and providing, then what's the problem?
If they go to doctors for it too, it's different too. If you're just doing it illegally, buying it off of like, what's one of those sites? I don't know, one of the crazy...
Steroids.com.
Yeah, steroids.com.
Amazon. Buy steroids on Amazon. I think you can actually buy something on
Can you
Amazon.
really?
Yeah, I'm sure you can. Jeff Bezos got it on lock. He knows what's going on. He's on steroids.
Yeah.
Probably. He had to go to space. He had to be on something.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, he's going to take some amphetamines to be on that rocket ship. Everybody's on drugs. America's on drugs. The world is on drugs. We're all drug addicts. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Just do the ones that make you happy.
Yeah. I like caffeine. Caffeine's a drug. I'm very addicted to caffeine.
I drink hot chocolate. Everybody makes fun of me.
I know, I saw that. From Wawa, you get the hot chocolate.
Yeah, I love hot chocolate. Like, everybody drinks coffee. I don't drink coffee. I just drink that.
I can't even get my day started without coffee.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, like here's the thing is, when it comes to coffee, like I look at the world and I'm like, this world is just shit right now. You want to be fully awake for that?
Yeah, I do.
Oh my goodness, I just want to drink hot chocolate.
Or at least I want to be less of a zombie.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like I would just be walking around just being lethargic and like, hey Zach, what's up? I think the other day you came in, I didn't have any coffee for a while, and you're like, what's the matter with you? I'm like, I'm just finished working out.
And then you got a cup of coffee when you left. Yeah, you're like, I need coffee before I go. Yeah.
I need to pep up. Everybody thinks I'm sad.
Yeah.
See, coffee just makes me happy, guys.
I'm cool with coffee. I just don't drink it often. It's like road trips I will. Or I'll chug like a Bang.
I've tried the Bang stuff. So that stuff I can't fuck with it. I don't know what's in it. Mm-hmm. It's just carbonated like shit. I don't even understand what it is.
Well, like I drove from Florida back to Jersey. It's like a 17-hour trip. I did 14 hours in one day, and I just chugged like one Bang, and I was like, oh, here we go in my truck.
Did you pee your pants?
No, I didn't. I had to pee like every 2 hours.
Yeah.
I had to like stop and pee, and then I was like, this sucks. But
go ahead.
I had the dog anyway, so I had to let the dog pee. So I was like, I'll pee since the dog's got to pee.
Yeah. When we were on the way to Nationals to the airport, DK's driving. It's a fun little fact for you guys. We had to pull over on the way there because I had an emergency. I had to pee. So I'm like, DK, I'm not going to make it. We're 40 minutes away from Philly Airport. Can you just pull over to the side of the road? I really got to pee. 3 minutes on the side by a tree.
Oh, jeez.
All from coffee.
I've definitely peed in bottles while driving because I'm like,
oh, yeah.
Because I like just stopped to pee. It's like another hour and some change. And I'm like, I'm not stopping again. Like, I'll just pee in a bottle and like, I'll throw it away when I get there.
Or just dump it out the window. I don't care.
No, because my luck, I'd hit a cop or something. Shit would splash up, and I'd be like, it's like that. What movie is that?
That's
Are we there yet, or
when they throw the pee out the window?
Yeah, it's in the styrofoam cup and hits the cop in the face.
Oh, what was that? Because in Dumb and Dumber, they pee in the bottles and he hands it to the cop and he drinks it. Mm-hmm. That was that one. There is another one where they jump it out the window, but I can't think of it right now.
Yeah, that'd be my luck. So I was like, I'm not. Plus littering. I mean,
well, no, you don't throw the bottle. You just dump the liquid.
Yeah,
who cares about that? Some pee on the road. Who cares? It'll be evaporated in 30 seconds. It's sunny out.
You're right.
I've done that before.
Because
I need the bathroom.
I pee outside all the time. I love to pee outside.
I got to pee in that bottle again. That's my bathroom.
Jeez. But
what's the longest road trip?
Oh man, I've done Jersey to Cali. That was pretty freak. I did it in 2.5 days.
Damn.
Yeah, I was speeding. I'm not gonna lie, but between speeding and then like just caffeine, that's when I drank a lot of caffeine.
Yeah,
and I had I always buy like these little bags of donuts, so like the little like mini ones you just pop in your mouth, and like that gets me through road trips. I'll just sit there and pop those in my mouth while I'm like chugging like a hot chocolate mixed with like what is it, vanilla like frappuccino. Yeah, that's
the way to go.
That's what gets me through.
2.5 days. You visit any cool spots along the way?
Not on the way out there, because I was like, I've driven it 4 times, there and back 4 times, and on the way back, usually I'll stop and I'll like do something cool, and like I got a picture of my dog every city, or not every city, but every state. I've hit almost every state in the U.S. except I want to say North Dakota is one of them. I haven't been to Wyoming. Honestly, I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think about it.
North Dakota and Wyoming.
Yeah.
Which one is Mount Rushmore in?
North Dakota.
North Dakota?
Yeah.
It's just a pile of rocks.
With faces.
It's unfinished. Yeah, it's unfinished.
Or is it South Carolina? No, it's.
Is it South Dakota?
That's one of them. I don't know. I want to say South, but I think it's North. I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah.
Do people even live there? I don't.
In North Dakota? Yeah, a few people.
Yeah, maybe
not a lot.
Pipeline dudes.
Lots of like fake Canadians. we're too south to be Canadian.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I could never be I couldn't do that.
I like Canada. It's fun.
I've never been.
I've been to Montreal and Toronto.
Okay.
Montreal's fun. But if you don't speak French, they're really rude.
Are they?
Sometimes, yeah.
I can speak enough to get by, but I don't know
French?
about.
I can say oui. No. And count to 10.
Jeez. Well, I've seen you go out before. When we were in Detroit, you went out. You're like, oh, it's 10 o'clock, guys. I need to go to bed. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, but I go out during the day to, hang out and mingle.
I do too.
Yeah, so like during the day, if I have enough coffee, I can hang out a little bit. But once it passes 9 o'clock, I'm out. I can't go out. Get me to bed.
I mean, I don't blame you. It depends.
Plus, we had to wake up at 5 o'clock the next day. So what was I doing?
Exactly. You were going to sleep at the plane anyways.
Nah, there's no sleeping on that plane. It's so uncomfortable.
I fly first class, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I fly low class. So we're flying out to New Mexico with the 5 stops there. Stop in Dallas, then we got to get to New Mexico. And, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to sleep on that flight either.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Well, I was supposed to go to Hawaii at the end of the month. I don't know if I'm going yet or not for DK's wedding.
Congratulations, DK.
Yeah.
This podcast is probably coming out on your wedding day. If it's next week.
It is next week. Yeah.
Solid.
But yeah, what else you got for me?
Yeah, man. So no wedding plans for you. Anyways, all right. So when did you get deployed, and where did you get deployed?
Okay,
Get back at it.
My first deployment was back in like 2010. So I did 2010, 2011, 2012. Those are all Afghan deployments.
That's when things were kind of heated up.
Yeah, that was the pushback
like
through
that.
Afghanistan. So you had Marja going on, Sangin Valley, Trek Nawa. Those were all good.
Was it like being on that plane for your first deployment? Like, what is going through your head, and what did the drill instructors, like, how did they get you mentally prepared for that moment?
Drill instructors did nothing for that. Absolutely nothing.
There is no prep for that.
Actually, my team lead, because then so after boot camp, I went to SOI, School of Infantry.
Yeah, you start doing different schools, right?
Yeah.
So you pick, like, how many different schools do you get to choose from, or do you get to choose, or do they just assign you?
They just assign you.
Okay.
It's really up to your chain of command at that point. But so I went to School of Infantry, and I got selected for 0351 Infantry Assaultment. So I dealt with explosives, rockets, breaching, all for the infantry. And so from there, once I graduated, I hit the fleet, and within a month and a half, we were deploying to Afghanistan. So like I didn't really have time to prepare, and then everything I learned in School of Infantry kind of goes out the window, and like your team leaders take over because they're like, well, this is what really happens in combat, because what they teach in books isn't always accurate to, what's actually going on the ground, So my team leader, Dan, he was awesome. He was a really good. He had the stick he would beat me with if I had no knowledge. He beat the crap out of me, but he's one of my best friends now to this day. We talk all the time. He's just a really good dude, and he was shot in the head, and he lived, but he's just a really solid dude. He's one of those dudes that if I called him right now and I was like, I need you here right now, he wouldn't care. He would drop everything and be here. Whether he would drive or fly, like he would be here within 24 hours. That's the kind of person he is. He's just a really good person. And then I had our section leader Jay, he did, I think he was at 16 years by the time he got out, but he was in Iraq, to push through Iraq. He had 106 rocket shots in Iraq alone in one of his deployments. And if you look at him, he's like the small little dude. Covered in tattoos, sleeves, his whole back, his chest. Literally covered in tattoos. And another one that, as people look at him, he's like, oh, look at this little punk. But he's one of those people that take the shirt off his back and hand it to you, no matter if you were a stranger or not. He is just one of the most. In the Marine Corps, you meet a lot of good people, and all these good people built you to become a better Marine and better person for combat. So that's who really built me for combat, because I had a month and a half to okay, now I'm ready to go. Let's do this. And then on that flight over, it wasn't really reality until we hit our PB, or our patrol base. So even once, you land in Kyrgyzstan, you do a little hop. So we land in Kyrgyzstan because we fly commercial over there, then hop on a U.S. Air Force plane or whatever. And then they do a combat landing, and combat landing, combat takeoffs, or they dive straight down, so that way if you get shot at or whatnot, it's harder for them to hit you, and the last second they pull up and they land. And it is that was the scariest part for me because I was like, oh, what the hell is happening? I don't
It's
know
like being on King Dakar.
Worse.
I'm sure.
And
oh my God, we're gonna die.
that's exactly. Well, I slept the whole flight, to be completely honest. Because
Even that part?
not that part. Because the minute we started dropping, like your butt puckers, and you're like, oh, what is going on right now? And so I landed in Dwyer, that deployment. And then from there, we took helicopters out to our PB, which is patrol base. Actually took helicopters to the company PB, and from the company PB, we got trucked out to where we were going because there was only 37 of us in this little small compound, and then we would take over people's houses and build a little fortress around that, and we'd stay there for a few days as an OP, observation post, and do stuff like that, going back and forth. So that was my first deployment, and it wasn't bad. It was just a lot to take in, and actually a lot of it's a blur, which happens to a lot of veterans. Like I don't remember a lot. I just kind of go with the flow, and like, because people will be like, "Oh, remember this happened?" I'm like, "No, dude." I'm like, "We got photos of you doing this." I'm like, "Oh shit, really?" I was like, "I don't remember that at all. Like, if this was like a murder case, I'd be done." I'm like, I don't know what happened."
Yeah.
But and then the other deployments kind of flowed because like when we first go over there, like you're trained to hate everybody, and like you're trained to hate the enemy, and then I want to say it might have been that deployment, we invaded, or we took over this compound, and the people were shooting at us when we came up, and so we started firing back, and we move in, and we're like, we had our Terp with us, and we're like, "Why are you firing at us?" He goes, "Well, I thought you were the Russians." I mean, these guys thought we were still fighting the Russians at one point, like certain areas, because they were that disclosed from the outside world. And it kind of changed my perspective on it, because if that happened here in the U.S. and I thought I was fighting somebody, like, of course I'm going to fire my, I don't know who you are, and I'm going to shoot. So it changed my perspective to realize not to hate everybody, and it's just, at the end of the day, it's a job. And as long as you accomplish the job, and every one of your, like, I didn't care about my life. I cared about the guys next to me, because that was, to me, more important.
And that's what they drill into you, right?
Not necessarily. They do, because like what they drill really is mission, gear, body is what they tell you. And so the mission's first, then your gear takes second priority, so make sure that's all clean and whatnot, and then you take care of yourself by whether that's getting food in your system or whatever. So you're just a body to them. They don't really care about you. They care about the Marine Corps equipment and the mission getting done. And then finally on a few deployments later, I went to Okinawa, Japan on a UDP, which is a unit deployment program. And I went over there, and it was really cool. I got attached to, we ended up being there, and that was 2013. And that's when the tsunami hit the Philippines.
Oh, okay.
And that was a cool deployment, because we ended up taking a ship over, and I got attached to recon for a little bit, which is where I wanted to go originally. And I just was like, this is pretty dope. And so we did some mission stuff down there, and it was pretty cool. And then I was going to get out of the Marine Corps. I was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore.
What is your first contract? Like, how long is it?
I did 4 years.
Does everybody do that standard?
No, you can do 5 or 6 depending on what your mission or what your job is. So like Intel people have different ones. Like, it just really depends. Like, some people get bonuses. I never got a bonus because I didn't know anything about it. So ask your recruiter for a bonus. And then, so I was going to get out, and the staff sergeant at Recon was like, "Hey, man, try out for MARSOC." And I was like, I didn't know anything about it. I was like, what the fuck is this stupid thing? I'm like, I hate the Marine Corps already. Because I had my last chain of command was really bad. And because they didn't care about their dudes. So, like, it was more, our first sergeant at the time, I'm not going to say names, but he only cared about what it looked like on him, not about what was best in the interest for us. So, like, we had a lot of guys that, like, needed to go home because their wives were having kids. Or like, we're not on a combat deployment. Who cares? Send them home back to the States so they can see their kid being born, And he wouldn't do that. And it's just, and then
But do you think that he had, like, an other obligation, like, where he couldn't send all these people home? Or is it just him being, like, kind of stickler for...
No, he would pick other people to go home. Like, so, like, the Advon is what we call it. So they go home earlier. And they kind of set everything up in the rear. He's sending his buddies home first instead of guys that just had kids or something like that. And to me, that's bullshit. Like, because I had a really good first, I'll say his name. I don't care. He was an awesome first sergeant ever saw. I believe became Sergeant Major Eversole, but he was such a good leader, and like he put all his guys in first. Like he was just like, this is what's. We all respected him to the point that we never messed up because we didn't want to upset him, because he was so good to us that we're like, we're not gonna. We're this other chain of command. We're like, screw you, dude. Like we'll burn down this village and be like, he told us to do it, and like get walking, because we just hated this dude. So I was gonna get out at that point, and so then I tried out for this thing. I went through A&S, got selected, and then went through ITC, and it was cool, but it wasn't what I expected. It was a good boys club, and that's not what I really enjoyed.
What was some aspects that you did enjoy, other than playing with guns?
So I think a lot of the training we did was really cool. Just like the different atmospheres to think outside the box, and you're just sitting there and you're like, oh, I would have never thought about this actually being a thing, or like it just opens your mind up to like different stuff that people do and like how people think, and that's what I really enjoyed. Like going to all these different countries, you learned like culture. Like I don't know how to say this without sounding like a freaking terrorist. Like I'm not a fan of living in the US anymore because of what it's become, but like people don't realize like other countries, because people think like Colombia is dangerous. The U.S. is just as dangerous. They just don't hide it from, they just hide it from what actually dangerous. And they blame
in what ways?
So like, yeah, in Colombia, people are like, oh, they have guns and they'll shoot you and they'll kill you. Go to Detroit, go to Maryland, right outside D.C. They don't even claim half those shootings because it's a D.C. area, and that doesn't consider part of the national shooting records. So like to me, it's like it's just as dangerous here as it is down there. The difference is you got to watch your mouth, you know, and that's what people don't realize here. A lot of people, listen, America's free. You have everything you need
for now.
Oh, yeah. But so a lot of people think that they can say what they want. Like I think Mike Tyson said it the best, and he's like, some people just deserve to get punched in the face. That's the problem with social media, is you can't punch them through Facebook or Instagram, and because that's what it's gotten to. Like, and I'm not going to get all political and all this other stuff, but it's just the point where people have become so soft. So hard times build hard people, and now that we're going into soft times build soft people, and that's the problem we're going through right now, I feel like.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, the freedom of speech is one of the things that has built this country, and being able to have that freedom of rights and the liberty to pursue whatever you want to pursue. Granted, you're probably going to have some roadblocks along the way, but your ability to be able to do that is what makes this country great, and other countries don't have that. A lot of like, you're not able to do anything in certain countries. Don't even let their kids go to school.
Oh, absolutely. And so that's my biggest thing, is like, a lot of people just get so sensitive nowadays, and just realizing that you have it so good.
They don't realize how good it is here.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what, like, it's opened my eyes. Like I mean, well, we have a buddy that lives in Scotland. Like, he lives over there because he enjoys it. I would live outside the US too. Just because I enjoy traveling too. There's so much to see in the world, but everybody's so homed in on like social media and like taking photos. Like, no one's living in the moment. Like, you just gotta LIVIN, just keep living, and that's the best way to put it, I guess.
How difficult is it to travel to different countries though, knowing that the rest of the world doesn't really see eye to eye with Americans, or at least a lot of countries we're not super friendly with, and their control and their government is different than ours. So how difficult is it to travel to certain spaces, and how difficult was it for you to travel to different countries as a operator?
So like when I got out, I worked for the government. Obviously, you know that, and you guys now know that. I got to travel all over the world, and it's more about knowing where you are and how to not cause the negative attention. Because yes, a lot of people don't like Americans. Now, a lot of people, love Americans. Like, I had a bad experience in Japan where they didn't really like American military. Where when I went to South Korea, they loved us, and I was treated so good. So it really just depends on where you are and being able to read the environment you're in to be like, this is how I'm going to operate and this is how I'm going to act in this country. I don't go over and be like, I'm American,
Wave my flag.
Yeah, actually, like I wear like I kind of look up before I even go somewhere. Like State Department has a website where you can look up the area you're going into, their threats, what's going on in that area, so that way you can get a vibe. And I try to wear what they wear down there. I wear normal jeans, not flashy jeans, normal shoes that you find down there, and then I wear collared shirts. And the reason I wear collared shirts is because you go to most of these countries, especially like South America or Central America, they're all wearing polos. I mean, they do everything in polos. It's like it's a t-shirt to us. It's what they wear down there. And like then you go to Africa. Africa's the same way. A lot of them are wearing polos too. And I mean, some are wearing t-shirt. More, it's kind of 50-50 there, but you can get away with it. And then I'm also dark and I blend in very well anywhere I go, which I'm lucky, you know. So if I'm in a Middle East, I look Middle Eastern. If I'm down in South America, I could pass as, you know, Hispanic or, you know, whatever country I'm in.
How's your Spanish?
It's not bad. It's not bad. I love it down there. I'll go down there all the time. This is also the easiest place. I like warm weather. Yeah. So anything down there is
well, everywhere's warm now. It's fucking hot as shit.
Oh my god, this is ridiculous. Yeah. But so it's not hard to travel. It just really depends on if you could read people, traveling isn't hard. Like when I was in Colombia, I was working and you know, walking around, people don't pay attention to you, you know, and like they'll look at you and just like if they're gonna talk about you, they'll look at you and then like talk to their friend like this. But when I was walking with somebody, I would saw people looking at us, staring at us, then they would turn around to talk, and then they would turn back around and stare at us, and then turn it back. So to me, that's a red flag right there. So now it's like, I'm not going to go that direction because these guys are obviously eyeing us up. They don't want us to read their lips. So now it's a threat right there. And that's the way that my mind works. You know, just like no different than being deployed. Like, why is there no people on the streets? Why is it, you know, so what's going on? Like, that's the stuff that you got to pay attention to, and the average person doesn't.
Yeah.
So if you learn that before going, or at least get an idea to where you're not like completely clueless, that's how it works.
Well, yeah, guaranteed. If I go away, I'm not gonna go to the normal parts of the country if I'm not familiar with the language. Mm-hmm. Don't have a friend to show me around. I'm probably gonna stay in the tourist area with Senior Frog over there and hang out by the bar. Yeah. But I mean, typical person's not really traveling to Afghanistan for their leisure.
True.
It's not a touristy area.
If you
why not? It's got some. It probably has some great,
gorgeous.
Probably has some great spots, but they don't want anybody there.
No, well, it's, before 9/11, it was Afghanistan. People bought property. It's gorgeous out there. I mean, especially like there's areas that it's green. Like I mean, I've showed you pictures. Like in the mountains, it's just gorgeous. I mean, I would go visit if it wasn't a war zone. Like
it's a complete war zone right now.
It's like Somalia. Somalia is gorgeous too. If you actually go and like see like everything, it's just a war zone.
Do you think that if they understood the capitalist like idea and they could like capitalize on tourist attractions and they could make Disneyland Afghanistan, do you think they would do it?
You know, I don't think they would. I don't think they would. No, not that one.
Could you imagine?
Oh my goodness. I mean, I'd go.
Disneyland Afghanistan.
The carpet ride probably be a blast.
It'd be incredible.
Oh, man.
Space Mountain. That'd be pretty good.
They launch you into space.
That's it. Bam. Even Somalia, you'd have like a nice Disney cruise ship roll in.
The water's gorgeous. Just shark infested.
Shark infested and pirate infested.
Yeah. But I love it. I love Africa too. Africa's another gorgeous country. Like, shit.
We were in Spain like maybe 10 years ago. I was in Spain. And we were going to go to Morocco on a trip, but one of the guys there was talking to one of the people that lived in, where were we? On Gibraltar, right on that rock. So we were there, and he's like, yeah, don't go to Morocco now. Because right at that time, it was like Ramadan. He's like, they're all pissed off. Don't go to Morocco.
Yeah, that's not the time you want to go. Like Turkey, I love Turkey too. So when I was working up in Mazar Sharif, I would fly into Turkey because I would just take a flight over and hang out in Turkey for a week or two, and it was amazing.
Probably some great coffee.
Everything, like just I mean, it's just
such. It is because it's not consumed by like mass production. And maybe it is in some ways, but not like the food and everything. So that food is all like they just killed that goat yesterday. That coffee bean was like grown last month and then roasted, and it's like this is like very fresh stuff.
And that's what makes it so good.
Yeah. So you can't over consume it because it's just not as much.
It's just quality food. Like, it's not processed. So like,
Yeah.
it's just, you actually get full and you're like, wow, this is really good. It's not like a McDonald's cheeseburger. It's like 1,000 calories and you're like, how is this thing 1,000 calories? Where there you actually eat a freaking platter and you're like, this is 1,000 calories and this is makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's a lot different. That's why they probably don't have Disneyland in Turkey.
No, probably not. They're probably like, no, sir, no. Yalla, come on.
Euro Disney. Go to Euro Disney.
That's exactly.
Eat your French fries and gravy. Leave me alone.
But yeah, I love traveling.
Yeah, I don't get to travel as much as I'm kind of stuck here in the gym, and my wife is mad at me because we don't travel so much. But now we got kids, so there's really not going anything traveling.
No.
Just had a baby.
Congratulations! I was about to say that. Yep. She was born on my birthday, so it even works out perfect.
August 7th.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, man!
Thank you.
There it is.
Man.
All right.
Yeah, Jeff and.
What did you go to? PA?
Yeah, we went to I forgot, Kahala, whatever.
Kalahari or something like that?
Yeah, something. The water park. It was.
It looked like fun.
It was a blast.
It's never gonna find that in Afghanistan.
No, you won't. The water there is just, it might be nice and cool right where you're standing, but down the, upstream, and someone's shitting in it. So it is what it is.
You might find that in Afghanistan.
Yeah. No, you will. It's not you might. You will.
There's water. Somebody's shitting in it. All right, let's fast forward to you're out of the military. You're out of the Marines. In the military, do they transition you or get you ready? Because the psychology in a war zone is completely different than you being home as a civilian.
They don't. They give you a class. It's like a week long, and they try to like help you build a resume and like be like, hey, here you go. Here's the real world. They don't really take care of you, and the VA is not the best. I always say there's two different kind of vets out there, kind of three, but you have vets that get out and they feel very entitled, and they feel like everything should be handed to them. They wear everything's military they wear, and they're like, dude, we get it, you're fucking military, like, calm down. The only military that I really show respect to that's not, that I feel like got shit on was Vietnam vets, because not all of them signed to go. So to me,
that's another thing, right? Years ago you got drafted, and then it was like, bring home the troops, because they sent them there, and those people didn't necessarily want to go.
Correct.
Now, you signed up for this.
Correct.
So you knew you were going to get into a shitty situation, and whatever it was, you signed up for that.
Exactly. So, like, that's the way I look at it. Like, yeah, the VA isn't the best. Yeah, the military doesn't take care of you. But you know what? Everything was in the contract. I signed the motherfucking contract.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I don't. You know me. I don't ask for anything, and like I'm willing to talk about the military. It doesn't bother me, but I'm not one of those people that go around and be like, you need to hand me this because I'm military. Like, I don't care. I did exactly what I was signed for. They gave me everything I signed for. The VA's giving me a compensation for the injuries I have. I'm getting my school benefits, which I signed for, and what else can I ask for? That was in my contract.
That's the deal.
That was the deal. Just because the healthcare sucks, realistically, healthcare is not that great even if you have private insurance, because it costs you $1 million and all this other stuff, Yeah. Do I wish the healthcare was better? Yeah, but there's a lot of veterans out there, and a lot of them need help, and they're doing the best they can.
Yeah, that's all anybody can do. What kind of injuries did you sustain?
Oh, my goodness. Throughout my whole career, even worked for the government, shrapnel through my leg, through my knee, through my hand, my thumb, if you can see it, was cut in half. I've shrapnel went through my head, concussions, just, I mean, then wear and tear. Like, I mean, carrying a rucksack on your back and running, like during ITC, they say it's 12 miles, but it actually mapped out to 14 miles, and you had to beat it in under 2.5 hours. And yeah, it's 75 pounds as a standard weight, but by the time you add water and food and like, you're wearing like you're wearing your utilities and you're wearing your boots and everything else, like, it's heavy. I finished that in 2 hours and 21 minutes, that 14-mile ruck run, and I was the 13th one in, either 12th or 13th one in, and I was like, not everybody even made the time hack, and I'm like, holy crap. And then to find out it was 14 miles, they were just fucking with us. But I mean, my knees are shot, my back is shot. I mean, and then the trauma is horrible. So, I mean, you deal with everything from I don't know. Every veteran's different when it comes to the mental aspect. Like, I was diagnosed with PTSD, but I don't have any. I don't think I have any crazy symptoms. I have nightmares, which is whatever. I think my biggest thing is I wouldn't even say commitment issues. It's just I don't let people get really close to me because I always get, I'm always like, oh no, I don't want to, and I push away. I have survivor's guilt from some of my deployments. So stuff like that, but everybody's different. I mean, it's just really about waking up and realizing, like, hey, I'm still here. Keep pushing, not sitting in a dark corner and becoming that negative Nancy. Like, you need to get out and help yourself, because at the end of the day, you got to be your own hero, because no one's going to be a hero for you. People might try to help for a little bit, but if you don't make that attempt, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's rough, man.
It is.
I couldn't imagine going out there and having to deal with the psychology of military and dealing with all these people out there that are trying to kill you on every second of the day.
See, that doesn't even bother me. Actually, under stress, I'm more calm, which you've seen me.
Yeah, you've said that to me before. Like, you're under stress, you're calm in the war zone, but then here this
is my nightmare. This is my war zone. Like, because from sitting here to be like, I don't know what to do with myself, to worrying about everyday things that you're like, this is not something I'd worry about overseas. And then like I said, when it comes to like relationships too, like, you're just sitting there and you're like, well, what am I supposed to do? Because most of my relationships, and I mean, you've known this, were long distance, because I was so used to being gone all the time that I'm like, I can handle long distance. I just put my phone down, I'll text you when I want to text you, and like whatever, or I'm deployed, I can't, I'm on a patrol, I'm not going to text you on patrol, or I'll wait till I get back. And even then again, I might not answer. So it gets definitely harder being back in the real world, because you actually have to be a person. Where over there, I'm worried about two things. Well, really three things: food, taking a shit, and getting shot at. And that's
not dying.
Yeah, not dying. Like, I mean, even then again, you hit a point too, and where you're just kind of like, I don't even care, which sounds really bad, but like, I remember I was walking on my first deployment, and Dan was in front of me, my team leader, and I'm kind of like, you get complacent after a while. I'm not gonna lie. Like, everybody's like, you got to be vigilant all the time. Like, no, there's a point where like, after you're walking in like 100 and something degrees and you got full kit on and shit, you're just like, man, fuck this shit. And you're just like kind of like walking. Well, I remember I was walking. I don't know, maybe stop and look down, but to my left there was like one of the old Russian mines that were like less than a foot away. And I like stopped, and Dan happened to turn around at the time. He's like, you good? I was like, yo, there's a mine right here. And Dan comes over and looks at me, and then the Afghan was behind me, because we were leading the Afghans. And he comes up and Afghan goes, ooh, boom. And I was like, yeah, no shit, boom. But I was, that's the complacency you get that. And I was like, well, are we calling this up? Because we're supposed to call EOD. But
was it live?
Yeah, it was a live one.
Fuck.
But like, you're hitting a point where you're just like,
what is the range on that? Like, how close do you have to be, or do you have to?
They're all different.
Yeah,
they're all different. But I mean, if I would have stepped on it, I would have gotten at least lost a leg, depending on if the explosives inside. Because the way an explosive works is you have the IED, so you have the primary explosive, then you have the secondary, which is like the booster charge, and then the initiation device. So the initiation device causes the booster charge to go off, which causes the actual explosive to go off. So I mean, it could have been dampened or wet to where, or damaged that it didn't all go off, or shit like that, But I just remember I was like, well, what are we supposed to do? And like, we wouldn't want to call EOD, because EOD would take hours to get out there, and then you got to sit out there for hours, because you got to set up a cordon or like a perimeter to make sure no one steps on it and shit like that. So Dan was just like, yo, just step on it, keep walking. So I was like, all right, cool, whatever, dude. And I kept walking, and then we would come up to like piles of rocks or like mounds of dirt, and like it got to the point where you just kind of kick it over, because you're just like, if it goes off, it goes off, and that's kind of where you get. I mean, yeah, it's just, you get complacent. But yeah, here's my war zone. This is harder for me to cope here. I mean, you see me. Some days I have good days, and some days I'm like, yo, I don't want anybody fucking. I mean, poor Eric. Eric got the backlash of one of these days. I snapped. Sorry, Eric.
I always tell Eric. He always gets a shout out on the podcast.
Yeah. But yeah, he saw it firsthand.
He caught some heat. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just depends. I have my good days and bad days like everybody else.
Well, what do you think they can do for the veterans? What do they think they can do for you guys as far as transition you better? Do you think they can set up a program where it's like, hey, you're coming out of a fucking 0 to 60 war zone, you're gonna go buy groceries and hang out for a little while with nothing to do, let's try to transition you
I think there should, but I mean, the problem is there's so many military members that they all need psych evals, no matter if they were a combat MOS or a non-combat MOS. Because I mean, in the military, you deal with everything from sexual assault to, I mean, it happens. Like it's
its own little world.
Yeah, it's no different than being in the
It
real
also
world.
has, you have military law, so it's different.
Yeah,
It's a different set of laws to follow and all that.
exactly. Like I had a guy. He went to a party, ate something, ended up being an edible, and that day or the next day he went to his chain of commands like, listen, I was at a party last night, I think I was drugged, I don't know. And he's like, I'm telling you guys because I don't want to get in trouble. And they're like, there wasn't a piss test coming up, like he could have kept his mouth shut and whatever, but he was trying to be a good, because like Marine Corps, it's, you know, it's all about integrity and loyalty and like, you know, like all this shit, you know. And so he's sitting there and he's like, I'm telling you because I'm scared that I feel like I was drugged. And they ended up kicking him out.
Discharge?
Yeah, because he popped on a piss test. And he's like, I fucking came to you because he's like, I was at a party and I ate something and I got drugged and I didn't know what it was. And they're like, you should have known better. Like, motherfucker, like.
Yeah, that's not cool.
No. So, like, the military doesn't take care of their military members. There should be better ways to do shit, but there's not at the end of the day.
Do you think it just comes down to not having enough money in the budget, or?
No, there's plenty of money in the budget. I just think what it comes down to is no one's pushing it enough to help them, and
It's definitely not trending, that's for sure.
No, I don't think anybody really cares. There's some good foundations out there. Hunter 7 is a foundation out there that helps a lot of military members that like, because you get like a lot of dudes get cancer and stuff like that. Like it's from all the test drugs they pop us with and stuff like that. This guy before he didn't even deploy with me on my first deployment. He went to the doctor and he's like, yo, my throat's killing me. And they're like, oh, you have strep throat. They're like, whatever. So he went home on leave and he's from Boston. He comes from a wealthy family. And his dad's like, no, you're going to go to the hospital and we're going to go get you checked out. So he went to Boston, the medical center there. He had stage 3 throat cancer.
Good Lord.
So that's the kind of medical that you're dealing with. They don't take care of us. They just kind of like, we're just a number.
Yeah. That's fucking sad, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what kind of foundations are there? What can we do as civilians to help out certain military members?
I mean, it's hard. I do think there's some good ones out there. I definitely think there's certain ones for different things. Like I said, Hunter 7 is the foundation I go to for a lot of stuff. I think they're very good.
What is Hunter 7? What do they promote?
They promote everything. I mean, they've done everything from cancers to PTSD to other organizations. And then like there's certain ones for like special operations guys. There's a Raider Foundation. There's a Raider Project Foundation. There's a Green Beret one. There's all these different ones. But the thing is those are tasks for those certain people. Yeah. There's no direct one that just helps everybody. That's why I like Hunter 7 because they kind of help everybody. But there isn't that many good programs out there. Like I don't want to talk bad about it, but I don't use Wounded Warrior because I've seen a lot of dudes that just don't get help when they should from them. My buddy Aaron lost his legs, and he went to the Wounded Warrior Battalion, and then was supposed to get help, and he still like is not getting the help he needs, and it's shitty. I mean, there's all different ones out there, but it's hard to really know. I mean, I don't really go to organizations. I'm one of those dudes. I know here in Jersey there's the my buddy Kurt's part of it. So if you guys want it, I'll get you in contact with Kurt, or I'll talk to Kurt. But he's part of this one, and he helps a lot of veterans too. But the problem is I just don't associate with it because I'm not one of those bro veterans. Like I said, there's two different veterans. So you have the ones that are everything's about the military and like they get out and thank me for my service, and they have all the patches on them and all this other crap. And like that's good on them. Maybe that's their coping mechanism. That's just not for me. And then you have like myself or E, who's like, yo, we're kind of like hippies. Like I'm a little more high strung than he is, but
just a little
bit. But I'm getting to this level, to where I'm just, I'd rather just try to drop it, and move forward.
You're better off. The world is stacked against you.
Yeah.
Not just you. I mean, everybody in general. Like, there's 1,000 million ways to die on any given day, any second. Something could happen, and the new legislation is passed where yesterday you had it good and today you have it bad. It's just like everything is stacked against you. So that's why when I see people like make it, that's when it's like, oh, fuck, how did he do that with all these obstacles? Yeah. So like that's what gives you hope, because people do make it, and legitimately and fairly, and that's what you got to look out for, and that's what we have to chase, those inspiration, that hope, that at the end of the day we're doing the right thing and we're doing the best we can for ourselves and for other people.
I think it's a mental thing, most of it's mental and having that drive. People say it's a support system, but
you need it all. You got to have something, because listen, you're here, there's a little bit of a support system for you here, and I feel like that helps you out in some way.
Oh, it definitely does. I mean, I have a lot of good, I have Arnie here, Mo. I do have a good group of people here, Jeff, that I talk to, that I hang out with outside of, I don't talk to a lot of people, like
I'm pretty sure you tried to quit the gym a couple times and I've talked you out of it.
Yeah, definitely. Anybody who knows, I drive like almost 40 minutes to come here because I love this gym. So yeah, I've done it, because there's just times where like I'm having bad days and I'm like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. Like, but it's all about getting that, just kind of pushing through the bad days. I've come in here and I'm like, I don't even want to work out, and you're like, just sit here and fucking talk to me, and I'm like, cool, we'll just bullshit for a little bit, send stupid memes back and forth. Like, it is what it is, and it's sometimes that's all you need. Yes, but everybody needs that, not just military.
Yeah. No, yeah, everybody, you need that that outlet.
Yeah,
and even just to get out of your house, because when you're by yourself, I'm sure that's when the darkest thoughts come in.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So it's just good to get out of the house and show off your sweet dance moves.
Yeah, I used to strip. Long story short, I loved it. I thought it was a great little. Anybody who knows me knows I'm always dancing. If you look at some of the guys' posts, I'm either taking my clothes off in the back or something. I love to dance. I'm not even that great at it, but I just want to twerk.
He listens to some of the worst music I've ever listened to. Although he could say the same thing for me with all the death metal and shit.
Oh my God, I don't know how you do it. Anybody who listens to death metal while lifting, I'm like, you're a psychopath. I don't know what's wrong with you. Like, I thought I was crazy, but I'd rather just dance my way to the
You just
top.
got like Whitney Houston and Aretha Franklin playing, dancing around the gym.
You know what?
That's what happens.
Still repping heavyweight. That's all that matters.
That's true, man. It's true. It takes all kinds, man.
Earth, Wind, and Fire. It's one
Earth,
of my
Wind,
good
and
ones.
Fire. There you go. September. All right, Zach, any closing remarks for your fellow military members and Marines?
Keep your head up. Shit sucks at times, and like, there's always you always need somebody to talk to. So just get a buddy. You could message me on Instagram. I'm sure he's gonna post my Instagram. I'm always available to talk. Just I don't really add a lot of people, but
it's true.
But if you message me, I always have my phone. My phone's been blowing up my crotch right now, so yeah, you can definitely message me if you need help.
Yeah, awesome, man. All right, we got to get a lift in, guys. Thank you for your service, and thanks for coming on here.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Thank you for listening. Age is inevitable. Weakness is not, so get up there and lift some shit. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching today's MarbleCast. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any content. Check out our Spreadshirt shop to grab some swag, and if you would like to support the MarbleCast, please head over to anchor.fm. All of the links are in the description, and it helps us out to keep the channel running. Thanks so much, guys. See you next time.